Hello my friends, I'm recording this video about the devil's territory, which is also the pastor's territory, because the pastor is the Antichrist. He's been sent by the devil himself to lead people astray from God. The pastor is the liar and the murderer, just like the devil himself. And in this video I'm gonna show you the proofs why pastors, church leaders and priests are of devil, and they also got their territory, and their territory is the worship service. The worship service is the devil's territory, but also the pastor's territory, because that's where the pastor rules. The pastor is the God of the worship service. The believers who genuinely want to worship God, want to know God, are deceived by the pastors. The pastors tell them that come to my church, worship God. But he is the liar. That's not how to worship God. You must worship God only in spirit and the truth. This is the big lie of the pastor. And then when people come to the worship service, to the devil's territory, to the pastor's territory, pastor gives some more lies. First of all, he convinced the people that when the pastor speaks, or church leader or priest speaks, everyone must be quiet and listen to the pastor. He is not allowed to interrupt the pastor, because if someone interrupts, he disrespects the pastor. So this is the lie. Another lie which pastor tells to people, it's during the worship service itself. The pastor speaks, he speaks for 1.5 hours, 2 hours. In general, it's according to the scripture. He quotes the scriptures, but there are times where he gives wrong examples. He gives his own opinion, which is always wrong. His opinions, his examples which he gives, it doesn't relate to the scripture. He just making it all up, and it's not allowed to interrupt it. So he lied about the fact that there is no worship service. He lied. What I mean is that he lied that there is a worship service, that people must come to the building, to his building. He lied about that it's not allowed to distract the person. There should be an order in the church. He lied about it as well. Even the scripture says where two or three speak, the rest should listen. And then if someone is sitting and he wants to speak, the prophets who are talking in front, they must be quiet. So there is two-way interaction. So the pastor lied and said that no, when I speak, everyone must be quiet. And if you want to say something, you just come after the worship service and you speak to me one-on-one. Yeah? So not to distract the people, so everything will be in order. So he lied about the God's order. He set up his own order, this pastor. He lies during the worship service itself. And why the pastor is the representative of the devil? Because the devil is the liar. So his representative is also a liar. But as the devil comes as the angel of light, that you will never think that this is the devil. So the pastor comes as the angel of light. But in fact he is of devil. He's been sent by the devil himself. Another lie which the pastor gave about his position, a pastor, he assumed that there is a role, there is a position of pastor or church leader or priest. And he lied to people that since the apostles appointed the elders overseers, so I'm the pastor, I'm also appointed. No, elders and overseers is the same thing, by the way. They are not the pastors. So he lying, he's manipulating the scripture. He's quoting the scripture about the elders, and he say, here I am, I'm the pastor. They are the liars. They are liars in many ways. Another way what pastor does, he excommunicates the people. What is the excommunication? Excommunication is that when pastor goes to the security or tells the ushers or go to police and tell to them, take this person out of my church. So the pastor knows that that's his church. That's not the church of Christ. It's not. Jesus said, "On you, Peter, I built my church, and the hell shall not overcome it." but the pastor say, that's my church, and he goes to police or goes to building security and say, take him out from my church. So to who he tells this? To those who oppose him. The pastors which I know, where I've been coming to the worship service, and I've been teaching against the pastors on my own risk. These pastors went to the security and said, take him out. These pastors are Andrew Moreno. Andrew Moreno was the pastor there, he was behind that, but there were 3 people who went to security and told to the management of the hotel, take me out. It was the Bassam, it was the Jacob, and it was the Clifford, the 3 church leaders who went to security, to the hotel management, and said, take him out, because I've been teaching against them. So as you can see, the pastors, church leaders, and priests, they use the building, as their own territory to set up their own rules, not the rules of God. And I've been talking to Chris LaSala, another pastor, and he said that, see, as the Israelites used to worship in the synagogues, Jesus used to teach in the synagogues. So what is the problem to have a church building? In fact, Chris LaSala has built his own building and became the boss in his own building. So he's quoting the scriptures about the synagogue. He's talking about the synagogue. But this is the lie. When Jesus Christ used to come to the synagogue, he used to teach. But when person comes to the church building, to the worship service, he is not allowed to teach, he must only listen. Jesus Christ will never come to the worship service, to the church building, because simply the pastor will not allow for him to speak, for him to teach. The pastor will disfellowship Jesus Christ for teaching in his church, because the church is his own property. It's not the property of Jesus Christ. The church building, this all people, his church members, are the property of the pastor, of church leader and priest. So you know about the priest. For hundreds of years in the past, they used to murder people. First of all, they used to excommunicate people. So they say, we take this person out of our church from our protection. That's how they say. That's how they lie. Say, we take this person out from our protection. We don't protect this person anymore. So then they go to the government and say, kill him, he is the heretic. That's what they do, that's their system, that's how they operate. So the government, even they don't want to kill the person, but they have to kill, otherwise the church will excommunicate the same government representative, whether it's a king or some royal, whoever it can be. And there are times when the priest used to excommunicate the kings in the past. So the government will take the person and will kill the person on a fire, or they will torture this person, and the church say, it's not us, our hands are clean, we just took our protection from him, we excommunicate him from the church, from his heresy or whatever it can be, so now the government can do whatever they want. Yeah, so that's what they do. That's how evil the priests were before, and now they do the same thing. The church leaders, pastors and priests, they do the disfellowshipping. It's also called excommunication. It's also called ostracizing, whatever term it can be, or removing person from the church, kick out from the church. It doesn't matter what the term is, but the procedure is the same. The church leader, pastor or priest, he points to this person to the police or security or to ushers. Who ushers is actually the local army of the church leader, you know, like his people who are loyal to him, who are maintaining order in the worship service according to the pastor's will. So they tell to them, take him out, and then he say, the church has excommunicated this person, so now the Now the police, now the security, they can do whatever they want to that person. It's not our own responsibility anymore. They wash their hands. So they got the blood on their hands because they are the same type of church leaders who've been torturing and killing the people back in the Middle Ages. The government has changed. Government doesn't kill anyone anymore. But the church members, the church leaders, they are the same evil as they've been before. You know, the worship service is the monument to the stupidity of the church members and their leaders. Like they say that here I'm come to the worship service, I come to worship God. But scriptures say you worship in spirit and the truth. Or you know, like now with the COVID-19, people worship online. So there is a worship service online. So there is a video. So if you watch this video, you already worshiping God. You know, that's how they lie. That's, you know, like how stupid it is. How is it possible? You open the tablet, you switch on the video, and now you worship God. Yeah, that's what they say. And what do they expect people, the sound-minded people, sound-minded believers, to believe in this kind of nonsense? That you open the YouTube or any other application and you watch the video, here it is, here is the worship service. So it means that while you watch your video, you are worshiping God. You stop watching the video, you don't worship the God. Or if you come to the worship service, if you come inside the building, you worship God. But when you go out, you quit worshiping God. And next week you come again to worship and then you don't worship. So this worship service is the monument to the stupidity of the church members, of the church leaders. So if you say, where is your worship service? Where do you worship God? He say, I worship God in the church. I worship God in that hotel we are renting a space over there. So that's the monument. That's the monument of the foolishness of church members. It's like, where is the monument of Abraham Lincoln in your town? The monument is just over there. So it's the same. Where is the worship service of your church? It's over there. So now you understand this. These people are foolish. So that's how pastor deceive people about this worship service. He set up his own rules in this worship service. He does whatever he wants, and of course the pastor, he must present himself as the servant of God, but he is not. So that's why he opens the Bible, he starts reading from the Bible, he starts quoting scriptures, he teach about God, but he also set up his own rules to lead people away from God, into his demonic doctrine, into his disgusting church doctrine. So he is the boss. And even talking to Chris LaSala recently, the pastor, you know, he just said, I'm the boss and people want me to be the boss in my church. So here it is. Here's the confession. They confessed. They confessed that they are the boss. They set up their own rules. Rules not of God. Even though the church leaders lie, they say, no, everything is according to the Bible. Everything is, we set up rules only according to the Bible, 100% according to the Bible. But here I tell you, there is no worship service. Jesus Christ never worshiped God in the worship service. He worshiped in spirit and the truth. No apostles ever worship in the worship service, in the church service. Never. There is no pastor. How is that you cannot interrupt the pastor when he lies publicly? So here it is. Here is the lie exposed. They say that they teach 100% according to the scripture, according to the truth. But no, they are not teaching according to the truth. The pastors are the liars. And they are the representatives of God. And even the apostles, they warned, or they already warned that the servants of devil, they should be also coming like the angels of light. But actually they are the servants of the devil, the representatives of the devil. So they set up their own rules, they do whatever they want, and you know, this excommunication stuff, it's a tool. It's a tool for the pastor to eliminate any prophet. So any person who opposes his wickedness, that's how the pastor eliminates. He just say, take him out. So the people who are left, it's people who are 100% devoted to this pastor. People who are 100% deceived. So no one can tell them anything from the truth. They only hear the pastor. So that's how people are deceived. The pastor is able to set up the system to eliminate any prophets. That's why if you come to the worship service, you come to the devil's territory. It's where the pastor, his representative, rules. He does what he wants. You cannot correct him. You cannot hear any corrections. So in the end, you have no choice but to follow what the pastor tells. Not at the sermon only, but behind the sermon he tells you also many things which are of devil. So actually, when you go to the worship service, you come to the devil's territory. And if you are not ready, you should never go to the worship service. I used to come to the worship service, but when I come, I speak against the pastor. I expose his false teaching. I speak to many people. I speak to many people in the worship service, and I teach them contrary to what the pastor says, contrary to the lies which he feeds people with. And that's why the pastors and church leaders, they hate me. If they know there is a guy who's speaking against them, they will quickly disfellowship. That's what they do to me always. So, if you are not the prophet like me, you should never go to the worship service. Unless you're the prophet and you go to break the lies of the pastor, then you can go. But otherwise, you should never go to the worship service.